guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk through my Hobonichi Weeks setup for 2023 and talk a little bit about why I made the decision to move into the 2023 Hobo Weeks early. I've actually already moved in as of last week, and I will show you guys kind of how I did that and talk a little bit about why I wanted to do it. But honestly, the truth of it is just that I wanted to, so I did. There's not really a whole lot of backstory, but figured I'd chat a little bit about that and then just kind of show you guys what I've set up so far and kind of what I envision moving forward for the rest of the year and moving into 2023. So first of all, I wanted to do a little quick background on the Hobonichi Weeks. I had never used them before. This was my first year using them. So I went through a little bit of like growing pains, I would say, with the 2022 Hobonichi Weeks. I initially got a Hobonichi Weeks Mega, which I will show you guys. So this was the first Hobonichi Weeks that I purchased, and I got this, I think, around in November. It was still before the actual like Hobo Weeks had started, but it was after the initial launch. So I remember being a little bit unsure of what I wanted, and I had kind of missed the initial launch in September, so I just sort of grabbed whatever I could. So I got the Mega thinking that I was going to use all of these note pages, and in preparation, I watched a lot of like Lindsay Scribbles videos because she has some beautiful Hobonichi Weeks setups, and I kind of like figured I would just copy her setup as much as I could and then tweak it to fit myself, which is how I do a lot of things. I feel like it's always nice to kind of use someone else's as a starting guide, but know that you're eventually going to make it your own. You just kind of have to try it out first. So in the front here, I did like a little vision board, which I thought was fun to put together. I used some sterling ink kits to put over the English dates. I was going to use this as a weight tracker. Obviously that didn't stick. And this was sort of how I was setting up the monthly views, which again, I really liked this. I mean, the setup itself, I enjoyed. What I wasn't sure about was how I was setting up the actual weekly pages. So first I did the line down the third of the page, and I used this in varying ways. For a while there, I was using it as like a social media tracker and then like a to-do list and a little habit tracker down here. And gradually it kind of evolved into different things. I used some kits at one point, I think. I was a little bit all over the place because again, I was just figuring out what I liked in the Hobonichi Weeks, and eventually I decided that I wasn't happy with how it was turning out, and I made the decision to switch into a standard. And that was mainly because I started to realize that my notes pages were I was never going to fill 200 or so pages of notes pages. So the things that I set up in my notes pages were, I did a little index over here, and then I did a cycle tracker, workout tracker, a cleaning tracker, and then some monthly tasks, date ideas. This was all for the reserves, more reserve stuff, and then books and shows to watch and read, and then a wish list page, discount codes, and then I moved into the Christmas planner from Paper Test Designs. I just wanted to use this. At the time I wasn't using my rings planner, so I bought the Christmas planner in personal size and just cut it down to fit into my Hobonichi Weeks. So unfortunately, the Christmas planner was actually one of the things that I really didn't like how I did it in my Hobonichi Weeks. What I did was I glued all of the pages in, so it made this like really stiff, even though I printed them on Tomoe River paper. I think I just used probably too much glue, and then it was glued on each side of the page, so it just made it like this really stiff part of the planner, and I just didn't like flipping through it. And I was printing out pictures, and actually this part I really liked. But again, I think what happened was I decided to go for like a structured approach, and I was like, I'll put an inbox first for the whole month, and then I would move into my memories and then another inbox. And I feel like if I had just let it be a little bit more like organic and put memory pages in when I had something instead of trying to section it off into like months, it just kind of felt like it defeated the purpose of how this planner was supposed to feel. Like I didn't want it to be too structured. So long story short, I ended up abandoning this and I purchased a standard Hobonichi Weeks in the cinnamon beige, and I moved into this in around March. And I really did like this one. I did a little bit more like tipping in, some more deco. Instead of gluing things in, I sort of played around with the same, like using this as a weight tracker. Still didn't stick with that. I did my monthlies in like a uniform way. I always did a strip of washi, my little sterling ink monthly, or the name of the month along the side, a little mini strip of washi, and then some form of deco. And I did that very consistently for the whole year that I started using this. And again, it's pretty. I like flipping through it, but I feel like it was too structured, and I feel like it started to feel like it just looked like each page was the same. And that's not a like diss to Sterling Ink. I think her kits are absolutely beautiful, but I think that for me, I don't necessarily want my planner to be the same style day after day. It starts to feel a little bit too redundant and just kind of doesn't feel like my life doesn't look the same day to day. And I don't want the planner to look like that when I know my life doesn't look like that. So you guys saw me set this up. My last video was the setup for September, and I really liked how it looked, but it just felt like the same issue for me, which was that I have all of these really pretty fall deco stuff, and I was limiting myself to these kits and how to match them, and I just kind of felt like I was like in a rut. So that's when I decided to kind of change things up. My notes pages here in the back were pretty similar. I did my cycle tracker, a little workout tracker, cleaning tasks weekly, and then monthly, little date ideas list, my reserve information, and then books and shows to watch and read, movies to watch, wish list, discount codes, and then I did a little memory keeping for a road trip that we did that I had a lot of fun putting together. And then I didn't do anything on my notes pages until I went to a spouse meeting for my husband's work, and I didn't have anything but a marker and a pen. At one point, my son took my pen, so I just used his marker to write some notes. And that was it for the notes pages. So clearly, this was about 2 weeks ago, so clearly this was never going to fill up either the way I was using it. So on to why I decided to move into the 2023. Basically, I wanted to start fresh, and I had this feeling like I feel like I've been in this planner for almost a year now, and I feel like I know kind of what I like and what I want to do. And a lot of it was also inspired by how I set up my fall notebook. I just really loved how that felt, just using a bunch of different stickers, having a ton of fun decorating. I really like decorating. One thing I mentioned on my Instagram stories was I feel like I've been trying to like plan in a minimalist way, because that's what a lot of really beautiful Instagram accounts have. There's, so many people have some really beautiful minimal setups, and they look gorgeous, and I do love them. But I think I'm finding my own style, and I've realized I'm not really a maximalist planner or a minimalist planner. I'm somewhere in the middle. I called it normalist. I think I just like some deco, but I don't like I don't like kits all over my page. I just like to have a bit of everything. And so that is what I've decided to do moving into 2023. My goal is to stick with this, even if I feel like my style is changing, just let it evolve naturally instead of trying to force one planner to look one specific way all year round. So now let's talk about the actual setup for the 2023 weeks. I'm going to move this out of the way. We can bring in the new star of the show, the 2023 Hobonichi Weeks. So this is in the milk tea cover. As soon as I saw this cover, I knew that I really wanted it. I did also get the champagne gold, which I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I do really like it. It's very slim. It's the actual cover itself is so thin compared to the milk tea. The milk tea has like a kind of thicker cover along here from the material that it's made of. This one is so slim. It really makes me want to like use it as like a wallet planner, but that seems silly because this could easily be a wallet planner too. And I don't really want to have to transfer the same information from this to this when they're the exact same planner. So I don't know what I'll use this for or if I will use it at all, but I am holding on to it until I've made a decision because I just like how it feels in my hands. So for the 2023 weeks, I decided to do something I didn't do last year, which was decorate the inside cover. So I've seen lots of people do like tissue paper along here and craft paper, and it always looks so cute. And I was afraid to do that because I was afraid to commit to one style of deco along here until last month, which was when I decided to put these stickers down and stop being afraid to decorate it. So this was recent and then I moved out of it. So I'm kind of bummed that I use these stickers when I'm not going to stay in this planner, but I keep these, so it's fine. I'll still see them whenever I open this up and look back at it. So this year I decided to do something with some paper, and I decided to make like a little cover along here, and I can remove this deco because this is seasonal deco that won't necessarily stay year round because it won't be fall year round, sadly. So the paper that I decided to use to line the inside of this is some craft paper. I think I got it from Hobby Lobby. It's just some, you know, like plaid paper. And then I decided to use this Chic Sparrow paper that my cover from Chic Sparrow came wrapped in. And I just tore it up a little bit to kind of get some like rugged lines along here and pasted it on top of the craft paper or the scrapbooking paper. And I did the same thing along this side with some yellow scrapbooking paper, and then I put the Chic Sparrow tissue paper over that as well. And then in the front here, I put this little pocket. This is from Catspresso Co. It's one of their clear white floral pockets, and I just have some deco in here. This is a little sticker from Taylor Ryan Design that I just haven't unstuck yet. And then this is a card. This is actually from Top Paper Co., but their shop is no longer around, but Mom Plans XO sells some of those while they last, basically. She purchased Top Paper Co.'s remaining stock of these cards, and then you can purchase them from her website while they're still available. And then this little die cut is from Sweet Freckle Designs, and this 2023 vinyl sticker is from Coffee Monsters Co. And then I tipped in a piece of acetate. This is from Queen City Designs, and it's just got some little hearts on it. And this is basically like a little sticky dashboard. Sometimes I'll probably put in like functional sticky notes. For now, I like these little decorative ones. These ones with all of the horror movie characters, I found this from a post on Facebook. I just printed these on sticky notes, and I did the same for this picture from Pinterest. So this little die cut is from Planner Monkey Co., as is this one. And then these pictures are from Pinterest, and I just printed them out and cut them down to the size that I wanted. So that is my front deco. And then this little note paper, it's not a sticky note, it's just a little notepad. This is from, I got this from Little Craft Place. I don't know who they have the shop on here, but they sell a bunch of different shops items. And then along here, I have a little card from Queen City Designs Co. This I printed from Pinterest. This die cut is from Sweet Freckle Designs, and this little magnet is from Kubo and Lucy. And then what I've done back here is I've taken a piece of scrapbooking paper and I've just slid it into the back. Basically, if I were to pull this out, which actually I'm not going to, but this cover is from Chic Sparrow, and I love her covers, but unlike VDS and Gillio, the inside of her covers isn't like lined or anything, so I just thought it would be pretty to kind of put the scrapbooking paper here. It kind of covers up like the string, because you can see it right here when you open it up, and I just thought it looked nice. So that is the exterior setup of my Hobonichi Weeks. And then we will get into the front page, which I decided to line with some tissue paper. This is actually from the Starbucks Roastery Reserve in Seattle. I purchased a mug from them, and this was the tissue paper that they used to wrap the mug in, and I thought it was really beautiful. It's a little harder to see now, but this is actually supposed to be like, I think like a deer skull, which, I mean, you might be able to see it, but basically I glued this down and then I used some washi here along the inside to try to prevent it from coming up. And then I just have this little card. This is from Little Spooky Studio. And then these little pumpkin stickers are from Mom Plans XO. I purchased them last year. I don't know if she still has them in her shop. And then this little paper clip is from a shop on Etsy. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but if anyone's interested, I can link it. And then in the month page, this is a little sticky note that I, again, found this picture on Pinterest and printed it. I won't always have all of these sticky notes here. I plan on using this page as an inbox page. So I have this piece of acetate from Queen City Designs. And as you can see, I've got a sticky note here that is available to write things on. And then I have a little decorative sticky note here. So on this page, I have a appointment reminder card. I've got a little to-do list. This little week ending page is from the Paper Test Designs and Hey Planner Girl collab. It's just one of their, it looks like a little, like a library check-in and check-out card. So I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I've seen some really creative ways that people have used those. So I like having that in there. And then I've just got another decorative sticky note that I printed on a sticky note. This calendar, I don't often use it, but I didn't want to cover it up because it is kind of nice to have as a reference. And then this tracker page, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to use it for yet. And I feel like I kind of have some leeway anyway, because technically this tracker doesn't start until January of 2023. So we'll see if I decide to use it. Obviously using it as a weight tracker never really seems to work out for me. So I don't know, we'll see. Then we move into December, which I've already decorated a little bit. So I decided to do the Sweet Freckle designs on all of the month pages. And this was something that I wasn't doing last year because I was always waiting for these Sterling ink kits to come out. And I would set up the month right as soon as I got the Sterling ink subscription kit. And that is something that I really wanted to change because it just kind of bugged me not having these pages decorated ahead of time. And I would have to like wait until right before the next month to start decorating it. And so this way, all of the pages are kind of like pre-set up with the months on the side, and I can start doing washi and stickers whenever I feel like. So that was one big thing that I wanted to do this year differently from how I did it last year. So I haven't decorated these pages yet just because I haven't felt like it. I'll probably do it a little bit closer to the actual time. So as you can see, we move into January, and then this is where I actually covered up the remaining pages. This planner actually goes into, I believe, March of 2024. So this would have been the February page. What I did was I removed the September page from one of my previous weeks. It was not, was it this one? I think it might have actually been this one. Yeah, it is this one. So as you can see, this one goes from June and then into January. So what I did was, I can kind of show you guys how it would look. You can identify, I forget what these are called, but there's a name for them. But you can identify where this would easily pull out. You can kind of like tug on it a little bit and you'll see that they're all grouped together and they will all come out really easily together. So it's kind of hard to show right now because I already pulled so much of it out, but this is sticking. But yeah, I just pulled this and then you just kind of cut the threads along here and then you can pull out the whole sheet. It doesn't damage the pages. And actually the Hobonichi Weeks is so well engineered that, as you can see, I pulled out all of those pages and this planner is fine. I also pulled out the weekly pages. You can again see this goes from August to December, and you can see here where I pulled out all of the weekly pages. And honestly, despite, you can see the thread sticking out a little bit, but otherwise this planner, you can't even tell that I really like tugged a whole bunch of pages out of it. The spine is completely fine. This planner is just so well made that it doesn't really affect it. So Anyway, so what I did was I took those pages out and I pasted the left half of the September page over the February page. So this would have been January, then it would have been February of 2024. I put September in, and then I tipped in the left side. No, this is the left side. I tipped in the right side of September, and then tipped in October and tipped in November. And then this page is glued on as well. And then I glued on the September week start. So basically what I did, to put it in very simple terms, I started using the September and October and November monthlies in the back so that I can use it now. And then when December rolls around, when this planner was actually meant to start, I just go back to the front, and then I can start in December and move the way through the planner the way it was actually designed to be used. So this is my September page. As you can see, I've decorated it quite a bit differently than how I was decorating before, because I'm not trying to match a certain kit. I just kind of picked what I liked and put it together. So this is my September monthly page. So I did the same thing in October. I have a mix of different kinds of stickers. This one's from Taylor Ryan Design. This is Paper Minty Studio. These are actually from like some Happy Planner kits. That's a Paper Minty Studio, or maybe Taylor, actually I think this is Taylor Ryan Design. And again, November did the same thing, kind of did a little mix. And I like it. I like kind of just doing however I feel like and not limiting myself to a certain kit or a certain style to put my planner together. So again, then we move into the 2022 weeks that were not already in this planner. All of these were tipped in by me. So I glued on September and then tipped in all of the rest of these except for the last day of November, which I'll show you. So this was last week and this is this week. So basically what I'm trying to do is just allow myself to be as maximalist as I want, and if I don't have a lot of stickers to use, then I won't use a lot of stickers. Just kind of do it however I feel like it. This little tab is from Sweet Freckle Designs. It's so handy. You can just remove it from the page and move it to the next page like this, and you just slide it on here. She has customizable tabs. I got a whole bunch of different ones. I also got some from for my fall notebook and all of the different sections that I use that in my fall notebook. So yeah, I just thought I would share that with you guys. I do have a code with her that I will include in the description. So that is this week. And then next week I decorated a little bit, and the following week I decorated a little bit just because I felt like it. And sometimes maybe I'll decorate pretty far in advance, and other times maybe I won't until the week of. I'm not gonna, stick to some sort of schedule. So again, all of these are tipped in. I tipped in some vellum. This is from Queen City Designs. I used this like blood dripping washi from that I got from Little Craft Place. And all of the rest of these pages are also tipped in. And then this page I glued on, and this would have actually been the right-hand side of March of 2023's calendar page. Then you move into the actual start of the planner the way that it came. So this is an English start Hobonichi Weeks. This is something new that they've done this year, is offer an English start version. So all of the quotes are in English. On the top here, it looks different. What did it look like before? Was it ever in Japanese, or am I making that up? Okay, it was smaller. So yeah, this is how the pages look different. I knew this looked different. And then it includes the English in a like bolder, more obvious font instead of just having it really small right here. So that is the difference in what the pages look like for the English start. I mean, I didn't really care one way or another when I had the Japanese versions. I like, I don't care if I see Japanese on my page. It's a Japanese planner. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. But it was nice to have the English edition just because, everything's a lot more accessible. So I haven't set any of these up yet, and I'm also not doing the line down the middle. This year, again, I couldn't do anything about this one because I had already done the line down the middle for the dates ahead of time. This year, I'm going to see how I feel. I might not do it some weeks, and some weeks I might. I'm just going to let it kind of just be. So then we move into the notes pages. So I tipped in this vellum from Sweet Freckle Designs. So this sticker I got, I think it's from Journal Station Online. These are what they look like. This is the shop name, I guess, or the artist name. And then I did my cycle tracker again because I keep track of this. This is something that I have always kept up to date in my Hobonichi Weeks. I used like a little moon sticker. This is from a Happy Planner sticker kit, and so are these little stars. And then I used some washi down here. Again, just to show the difference from my previous Hobonichi Weeks. These pages were always kept very minimal. Basically, I just used like a little minimal sticker at the top, and that was pretty much it. And I mean, I like deco. Like, I like to see pretty things, so I decided to include some deco this time. I tipped in this vellum from Queen City Designs. These vellums from her are in personal size, and I just trimmed them down to fit in my Hobonichi Weeks. And then this is my monthly chores tracker. I decided not to include my weekly tasks because I don't keep up with it very well. So this is what my weekly cleaning task looked like in my current planner. And as you can see, I stopped updating it week 22. And we're currently on week 37. So it's been a long time since I updated that tracker. Basically, I figure if I want to keep track of weekly cleaning tasks, I should be doing them on my weekly pages. Like, isn't that what the weekly pages are for? So I decided to take those out, and I decided to keep with the monthly chores because I do really want to make sure that I'm doing these monthly. And again, I decorated this page a little bit. One reason I decorated this is because I found that I didn't really go into my notes pages very much. Like, they were just in the back of my planner, but I didn't flip to them very much. And I just feel like some deco makes me want to flip through it. Like, it looks pretty. So then for the reserves, this is my part-time job, basically. I'm in the Navy Reserves, and I have tasks that I need to keep track of. I have hours that I need to keep track of, and I have some key dates that I wanted to put in there. So I transferred over my key dates, and then on this side, I will have my drill dates. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently from this time. This time I didn't count the number of grid spaces correctly, so I didn't leave myself enough room, but the Hobonichi Weeks actually has just enough grids that I can fit in all of my original drill dates and just have one line of boxes at the top to put in like a header. So I can put in all 48 of my original drill dates and then actual drill dates on this side. If you don't know anything about the reserves, all of this means absolutely nothing to you, but it's important for me to keep track of. And then I have like a little to-do list that I've just tucked in here. And then I have a media tracker, and it's a little bit messy. I don't care. It can be messy. I want to keep track of when I start listening to podcasts, when I start watching TV shows, reading a book. Instead of having a book tracker, a movie tracker, a TV show tracker, I just decided track all media on here. I can use a little sticker to note what type of media it is, whether it's a podcast, a book, a movie, a show, whatever. Or I could just write it. Like, again, this is not about being uniform. This is not about doing the same thing consistently all year long. It's about just allowing myself to do whatever I want. And then I am going to add in like a date night tracker. I'll probably put it in somewhere, maybe here or here. I have a feeling that my media tracker is going to be more than one page and probably more than 2 pages, but that's fine. If it's broken up by another list, I can just then, media tracker continued and just do it that way. I'm thinking probably what I'll end up doing is assuming at some point I run out of space along here, because I'll probably reserve this page for my media tracker. I can just put like September through whatever month I run out of. So like if this lasts me through February of 23, I can just put September through February. I'll have our date night tracker here. And then say I want to continue on this page, I can just say media tracker, March through whatever, and leave it blank for whenever I fill that page up, and just kind of continue on from there. And that is how my notes pages will continue for the remainder of my planner. I don't want to structure my whole notes pages out. Sometimes they will just be an actual notes page where I'm taking notes from some sort of meeting that I'm attending, or, you know, anything like that. And sometimes there'll be a tracker that I might just start halfway through the year. I don't want to feel like I can't do anything after I start using the planner, because I've already set things up in such a structured way that I want it to look uniform as I flip through it. So that is the full planner. That is how I've set it up. That's kind of how I'm intending to use it, a little differently than I did this past year. And I don't want to make it seem like I regret how I set this planner up. Again, this was my first year using it. I feel like with planners, you know, especially if you're trying out a new planner, it's an experiment. You have to see how it works. And this year I just decided to do something different. I'm excited to see how chunky this will get. Obviously, tipping in all of these pages have already made it a little chunkier than it would be. This is pretty thick, but I like chunky planners. I like chunky notebooks. It doesn't bother me at all. And I'm just excited to see how this turns out throughout the year. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. And please subscribe if you liked this video.